Welcome back to the channel. My name's Cody and I'm developing a 2D survival horror game called Never Forgotten. If it looks interesting to you, consider checking out the Steam page linked in the description below. From there, you could either try the demo or wishlist the game, either of which would be greatly appreciated, thanks. Never Forgotten is releasing a little over a month from now, and last week I disclosed the plan moving forward to release. Each week I'll be releasing a video detailing some aspect of development from my time working on Never Forgotten, and this week I'd like to share some helpful tips for developing larger game projects. Without further ado, let's begin. Now, the most important piece of advice I can give to any aspiring game developer working on a large project is plan. It's easy to do and endlessly helpful at every stage of development. Larger projects tend to be pretty overwhelming, and breaking it down into smaller pieces with more frequent goals will help keep you motivated and organized, and it will also ensure that the work that you're doing is backed by intent. While entirely anecdotal, once I finished planning out the entirety of Never Forgotten, I was actually able to finish developing the game within 4 to 5 months. Planning in this instance made actually making the game much easier to tackle. Before I had planned out the game, I'd spent about probably a year or so just working on the same part of the game over and over again, endlessly tinkering at it. So once I was actually able to write out a plan, I was no longer confused as to where to take the project next. This helped me remain focused and get the project done faster. Now, my next tip is regarding gameplay, more specifically the balancing and difficulty of your game. An important thing to realize as the developer is that you are very good at your game and you understand how it works in its entirety, all of its ins and outs. Point being, you need to consider when making new mechanics how a player is supposed to figure out and understand them. Tutorialization and teaching of your mechanics should be considered at every leg of development, and each new area or encounter you design should have a clear design intention, either to teach something or to reinforce known knowledge. Never Forgotten having obscure mechanics and puzzles really made me confront the issue of players misunderstanding my game. And once I considered the actual purpose behind designing the level, it helped a bunch with making things clearer for players moving forward. Now, my last piece of advice is a bit more typical, but still true regardless, and even ties in with the last one a bit. Get people to playtest your game. It cannot be understated how important it is to see firsthand how someone reacts to a mechanic or story beat. Games are about crafting an experience, and there is no surefire way to know whether or not you have succeeded in crafting said experience. So every few weeks or months, just whenever you've made notable progress, ensure that things are on track by having some friends or family playtest your game and adjust anything as in accordance with your vision. That's about all I have to say regarding developing larger projects and what I consider are the largest things to focus on during the process. Again, if you're interested in playing Never Forgotten, it releases August 22nd, and you can wishlist it now on Steam to be notified of its release. You can also join the Discord if you wanted to ask me any questions or potentially participate in the playtesting for the game. Both the Discord and store page are linked in the description. And of course, if you'd like to stay up to date with the happenings of Never Forgotten, consider subscribing to the channel where I post weekly videos regarding the development of the game. Alrighty, I'll be back next week with a new video. Until then.